first 10 years, up to 20, 30, 40, everybody with me.
We didn't have a building, and we rented the Everett High School, and we had our church services there, and we made plans to build, but we were going to build a school first because we felt that was more important to have the school, and that the church would eventually come with the school.
Blessings that God has given to our Savior Lutheran.
Well, I think we have received the gift of wonderful servants in our ministers. Whenever we had them, whenever they came, and also tremendous blessings from the staff of the school, the teachers. They were all outstanding, and the children, including my son, who went to the school from grade 3 through 9th grade.
They had a school bus, and Mrs. Walker was the bus driver.
Boys and girls, you know what's the one thing about our Savior Lutheran School that never changed and never will change? The same thing that was true 50 years ago is still happening today. What do you think that one thing is, Bailey?
Learning about God.
That's right, learning about Jesus, and that's the one thing that makes us special, right? Because we have a chance to learn about Jesus and being able to pray.
And that's why you're all here
and
today.
that's why we're here, and that's why I'm here, right? Because that's what we want to do, and that's what your moms and dads want for you. And that will never change about our Savior Lutheran School, right?
That's
Right.
true. That's why we send our son to school here.
And maybe 50 years from now, you will be about 58 or 59 years old. And maybe your children or grandchildren by that time will be going here to school. And they will be learning about Jesus. Huh? Celebrating the 100th, and you'll be able to say, I remember when I was in 3rd grade and we celebrated the 50th anniversary. Now all of us adults here, 50 years from now, will probably be in heaven with Jesus. But you guys will still be here, and it will be your job to tell people about Jesus, right? We're going to pass that on to you.
What is a few of your favorite things at lunch you like to cook?
My favorite things I like to cook? I like to cook everything, but mostly I baked. And Mrs. Janetsky did the main dishes, which was spaghetti or whatever. But I cooked, I baked. That was my favorite.
I think our favorite ones that the children liked were in the days that we had pizza and corny dogs.
And also brownie.
Now,
When did you start working at the school?
the first year that they opened the school, the first year we held church services at Old Everett High School, and the children stayed at Trinity. Then the second year is when we opened the school, and that's when we started. Maybe we didn't have the first month. We had to get the kitchen and everything all equipped and so forth.
We had to get ready to feed all you hungry children. And we stayed with you for 15 years.
when they put the floor in this church, that was done by volunteer labor. Members would come down, they'd come right from work, and Mrs. Brown and I would serve them supper so they could keep right on working.
What are some of the greatest blessings that God has given to us all?
You really want to know? Just all you guys right here. Mr. Krause, Mr. Krause, you.
Always the greatest blessing are people, aren't they? The pastors and the teachers and the kids. It's nice to have like a nice building, things like that. But what God really blesses us with is always the people.
Why was this particular location chosen?
We weren't here when that was taken. That was before I came. But from what I understand is that Mr. Bork happened to walk by or drive by and saw a for sale sign evidently, and mentioned that to the committee, and they checked it out, and it was available, and the price was very reasonable. The lady evidently was pleased that a church would have this property. It was a farm, and they thought that would be really neat to have a church where their farm had been, and so they gave us a real reasonable price for that property, for this property. And I was concerned. I happened to talk to my brother, and I said, I feel sort of not quite up to it, and he said, well, it isn't up to you, the Lord's with you. And that made a big difference. And I thought, that's what it's all about. He's with us, and no matter what the task is, and I think that's important for you to remember that no matter what you have to do, the Lord is by your side, even in your assignments.
And they had worship service in the gym, but we're planning on building the church. So for about 2, maybe 3 years, I worshiped in the gym with them and enjoyed the blessings and enthusiasm to be a partaker of the building program. Met a lot of people. The two, Paul Schrapp that is in the group down, he was one of them. And some of these other people, I'm not a painter, I'm not a, that type of thing. But they taught me. I mean, I learned a lot putting the tile down on the floor, staining, painting, doing other types of things, working with the people putting up plumbing fixtures or that sort.
I want you to look up here into the front of the sanctuary. Above the screens, do you see the big brown beam going all the way to the top by the fan? Do you see the smaller beam going across? Do you see the cross there? One of the individuals, one of the men that put that up there is here with us today. Paul Schraft. Can you stand, or could you raise your, you could stand, that would be wonderful. This gentleman helped build this church, and he was responsible, as he wrote for us, putting that up there. And it brought tears to his eyes when they got down and looked up, and they saw the cross in the sanctuary. Paul, thank you. Thank you for your faithfulness. The school children that were gathered here back in the 60s, this school was invited to be a very special part of a major going on in the Michigan district. And you somehow were all transported down to Ann Arbor. And you were one of the few schools that was invited to be there for the cornerstone laying at Concordia College in Ann Arbor. This is one of the few schools that was invited. And this whole student body went on down, and that was a great day of celebration.